Hello world! I'm your host Bunny, this is Awesomenauts, and today we are playing that character that I've been promising for so long, Leon. It took me a while, and it pretty much took me the fact that I had to reset my prestige to get around to understanding what I was doing wrong. So we're gonna switch this around. We are running a rather basic build, and the thing I'm not using anymore is Hungering Sword, which was the main reason I was failing too much. Simply because I was sacrificing crit instead, and I've come to realize that when it comes to Leon, you pretty much have to go damage upgrade speed crit. But we're always going with tongue and tongue stretcher first, because that's awesome, especially on this map. On for example station 404, I probably wouldn't have gone with tongue stretcher as much and aimed for, I don't know, movement speed or more attack damage right away, since there's very little turret to hide behind and very much space in the middle, so being able to grab for long distances isn't as useful as being able to actually kill things, since the grabbing of long distances I mainly use to drag people into turrets. Anyways, we are running the basics, we are picking up money, and we are pretty much just biding our time while the other people apparently kill stuff instead. A very, very offensive Gnaw. Can we take him down? I have no idea what's happening there, and I can't follow them, so never mind that. Let's go up and have a look. Take care of the bots. We're not gonna care too much about all the fighting in the middle, even though it might seem like it. We're gonna run off if we see something that's easy to grab, but we're not gonna make it too much of an effort since the droids need to be pushed still, and I find it's very easy to forget about that when it comes to Leon. Like that was a good way to go out and grab, and this one would be as well if I had had the tongue off cooldown. However, I did not, so let's see if we can. Where did my tongue go? Did I even use it? I must have missed it. Anyways, we're gonna stick to laning, because that's the one thing I realize often, that you easily forget about Leon because you think that you are so ganky and so awesome and you're just gonna run around and kill everyone. And then it turns out that apparently you're not going to do that, because they're very, very good at defending themselves early on, and you don't have any damage. You do 8 damage per attack, and that's not much to write back home about. Anyways, we have 323 now, so let's go back and spend that, and we're gonna spend it on health first of all, and then a crit. The first health I find is important to get as early on as possible, because Leon has very, very, very little health, and there is no reason to ignore it, because it will get you killed more times than it will save you if you get damage upgrades instead. Simply because even if the other characters can get equal amounts of damage upgrades without having to spend anything on health, because they have enough health already. As you can see, if you compare to me and Gnaw, for example, we're pretty much on the same health, and I don't think he's gotten a health upgrade yet, at least. Someone's down there. Let's grab him, see if we can get him, and no, he managed to get away this time. This is also what I find interesting, that Leons tend to take stealth as soon as possible when they see there are other ganky Leons in the lanes, because it's easy to get away and all that. However, I find also that if you don't get stealth and you rely on being out in the open and you spend that extra 135 on health instead, Leon will be back behind you in health, and the best thing he can do at that point is run away rather than anything else. That was stupid of him to overextend. So instead of taking the stealth and be prepared to be backstabby and all that without having any upgrades for it, go for a health upgrade instead, and your opponent Leon is falling behind because he has to go in melee with you and he can't outrange you in any way. So I'm a big fan of not using stealth. Let's see if we can grab him. No, we're gonna get health instead, because he got health and he could easily get away, so let's go back to the lane. So we're trying to find this mix between pushing lanes and ganking at the same time as Leon, and I think that's the most important lesson I've learned from the last 2 weeks of trying to get a good Leon build, is that you can't just do laning, because then you will be falling behind because everyone else is running around ganking. So Hungering Sword, for example, it's not a bad idea, but it's not a great idea compared to the options. damage, attack speed, or crit is going to outweigh the damage you get, the health you get from Hungering Sword most of the time. At least in the builds I've used so far. I'm sure I will come up with a Hungering Sword build because I really want a Hungering Sword build. And we're not gonna go too close to that turret when we have Leon in the lane as well. And again, luck is on my build list, and I take it very early on. Thankfully it's free. Let's get the second crit. We are now more critty than our opponent, and I still think we have more health than him. Or we have the same amount of health, but more crit. One of the two, because he can't get stealth without sacrificing something else at this point, because he's not ganky enough. Or, well, he hasn't ganked enough, I should be saying. And we have a mine/bubble Yuri, always fun. Gnaw trying to get away, Gnaw gets away as well, sadly. That was not going very far, so let's go up there and look. I don't think I can save, no, but I can. Oh well. Apparently I landed right in Coco's little beam, so that's okay with me. We're not gonna go back yet, because we only have 200. And while we could go back, I want to take this tower up turret out first. Now we can go back. After doing that. So we're gonna land right in yours mines, of course. Let's go grab some health. And for some reason it feels better to always grab health before teleporting back, and at that point I also feel that might well stay in the lane for a little bit longer. I'm not falling behind it. Hello, that was stupid of him. And dead he is. So again, Leon with stealth, you tend to get into this habit of thinking that you can just jump out and stab someone in the face, and that rarely is a good thing to do. And chasing down Yuris, I'm not even gonna comment on that, because it's so easy to chase down Yuri, especially when he doesn't have speed upgrade, because he can't fly away in any way. And I'm gonna get speed upgrade as well, so he can't get away even more, and some more health and attack speed on top of that. A lot of money spent and a lot of upgrades gotten. Still no stealth, because I know, as you can see, our Leon opponent doesn't have a chance when it comes to the health. He has half my health when he's at full health at this point, which is money well spent rather than going stealthy. Of course, you can build a stealth build that relies on the ugly little clones and having them sent around exploding and all that, but again, I'm not at that prestige level, or well, at that level. I upgraded my prestige level, and that's why I'm gonna try to take out the solar boss, because it gives a lot of health, and it also gives 30 solar, I think it is. Looked like 30, I was 70, so. And again, Yuri, Leon, trying to be funny, Yuri defending him. Always annoying, but what can you do? And down goes Leon again. If you know what you're doing against Leon, it's kinda easy to track him down even when he's invisible. Especially when I have that second attack speed upgrade. That's what makes it easy to find him, simply because I attack fast enough to see which way he's moving by the damage ticker that moves around him. So he's easier to follow when you have the attack speed upgrade, and he can't jump away without being hit at least once, so you know that he actually jumped. So, back to getting some health. I know he's stealthed and he's gonna try to get me, because now he's really upset with me, and that's a good thing. When you have a lot more health than Leon, you want to make him really upset about your presence and chase you down. Simply because I know he can't kill me. When I'm at half health, maybe. When I'm at full health, there's no way he can take me out, because he has stealth. What is he gonna do? Stealth me to death? So that's a very good position to be in, and we're not gonna care about him. We're gonna save our turret instead, and this guy got bitten in the face. He didn't stand a chance. So as you can see, my critting is... It comes and goes. It's as it should be, about every 10.2 attacks or something like that, crits. But it also has the ability to streak, which is what I'm relying on, because with attack speed you're attacking so fast that you will at some point streak with your crits, and at that point there's not much anyone can do, because you're gonna slam out so much damage in his face, and that easily outweighs even getting 2 health back from Hungering Sword. and people are starting to recognize me, which I always find, I was gonna say fascinating. I was going for that word, but that's not. I find it complimenting. I take it as a compliment when people recognize me, and while I'm not keen on actually trying to talk to the guy at this point, I'm sure I will. I take the time to talk when I'm in base, but I try to not talk while fighting. Also, I have Clonk standing right here, so I'm not too worried. But no, I haven't done a guide on Leon yet, because this is the guide on Leon. So, I'm sorry, Senor Zombo. But that was just an OP video, and I was just showing that Leon was incredibly OP at that point, and that hurt. So what are we doing? We're going back to base so we can have a little chat, and we're in a very good position. No turrets have gone down on our side yet, so no stress. I'm just explaining to Senor Zombo that yes, you're right, that was me. However, that video was in no way a guide, it was just look at how OP this guy is. We take attack speed and some more damage. Now we're gonna start working on the damage, because the crit is cheaper than the damage, and that's the reason I take the crit first, because it adds 15%, 10% extra damage is, what, 1 damage per strike in average, which is acceptable compared to the 2 that the regular attack does. However, the streaking is what makes it relevant to do. If the crit couldn't crit streak, I wouldn't be using it as much, but now it does, and that's very, very useful for me. And again, Leon trying to stab me, he's still upset, I'm low on health, but on this map you're not gonna chase down a running Leon if he doesn't want to be caught. It's pretty simple, there's too many ways to go and too many platforms to jump up and down on, and that tongue doesn't go through walls. So I think, if I'm gonna give my very, very non-objective opinion, I think Coco is probably the one who's best at chasing on this map, because her ball goes straight through things. And down he goes again. Again, this is the benefit I get from not having stealth. That's 135 solar I could invest in health, which has obviously made a huge difference so far. So we're 200-6-0, and the rest of the team is in the base. Let's go take down turret. There's no reason not to. And there we go. As you can see, the streaks are really nice to see, and now nothing happens for the entire turret after that. So again, it's not overpowered, it just looks overpowered when you get 3 crits in the face at the same time. Then again, I keep running around not critting for a good 20 attacks after that as well. So it balances out, but it looks OP when you get it in the face. Don't worry though, this can happen as well. He just gets away, Yuri saves him, and I can't chase down Yuri because Yuri has a bubble, and back he goes. For some reason he decides to come back for me. And down goes both of them. Well done Clunk for exploding in his face. Let's end this game. This is clearly the GG at this point, and that was a botched tongue again, but there's nothing this Clunk can do against this. We're all 3 against 1, there's nothing. And I don't know, he doesn't have self-destruct either, so that's the GG. This is how I play Leon right now without stealth, because again, if there's a Leon in the game, I don't use stealth because that gives me a disadvantage. If there's not a Leon, I probably use stealth, and I will get back on that in another video. Thank you for watching. Toodles!